Hi there, matriculants. Thank you for showing up. Woody Allen said, 90% of success is just showing up. I agree that half the battle is won by being there. You are here and so am I. Thus, we are on our way to triumph and success. Writing English papers 1, 2, and 3 is like going to war. There are booby traps and ambushes galore. You need to be armed, ready, and vigilant, because each question literally tests 2 or 3 aspects. Your knowledge, your skill of, for instance, quoting, your reading skill, and whether or not you can follow instructions on how to answer. If they say quote a word and you quote 2, it's wrong. Right, thus you actually need to be very alert and tread lightly through this minefield of booby traps at each and every question. I would have added explosions to this video if I had the technological skills, but you must imagine stepping on a landmine and hearing boom. Look out for the booby traps. All right, let's start with our first slide. When encountering the comprehension test, read the passage and the questions in the 10 minutes reading time provided before you may commence writing. Read the questions and underline the question words and instructions given. This is when they say you may start. Look out for things like quotes or not, how you must quote, and do not quote if the instruction is not given. And then remember both quotation marks. You tend to forget the second quotation mark. Right? In open-ended questions, you must use the Peel method. They will ask, do you agree or disagree? Firstly, you must state clearly whether you agree or not. If you omit this, they will not even read further, because what are you actually proving if you don't state clearly? Firstly, you must make your point. That's the P in Peel. Provide evidence from the text, always back to the text. Explain, act as though this examiner knows nothing, and then always link it back to the question. We also have the trick up our sleeve where we actually do the agree part, skip a line, and also do the disagree part, because they might give you 2 marks for agree and 1 mark for disagree. Answers must be based on the text. Even if asked to give your own opinion, there is no such thing as your own opinion. They only test whether you understand the passage or the cartoon or whatever they're asking. So you must always link it back to that comprehension test, that passage, or the poem. It doesn't matter what the text is. Right? There will be level 1 and 2 questions for 12 marks out of the 30. Those are supposedly the easier questions. So you will find the answer in that passage. For instance, list, then you must write the answers vertically, like a shopping list, and use a hyphen, no bullets. You must quote how they want you to quote. They will ask you to identify certain aspects, characteristics, or whatever that passage is about. They will ask who, they will ask what, they will ask where. So a comprehension test is just a test of your understanding of this whole passage. So you must be able to read between the lines and understand the tone of the writer and then form an opinion about it. Furthermore, remember that I said, go and analyze the questions. Go and underline and scratch on your question paper. Quote, encircle it. If they say, find the answer based on line 5 to 6, go and highlight on the passage, line 5 to 6, and write the question number in the margin so that you can, when you start writing, quickly find that passage. Sometimes they will ask you to find an answer on the passage as a whole, or on a paragraph, or based on just that line. So you must be very, very careful. Like I said, booby traps. Right, the kind of questions you can expect, and this comes straight from the horse's mouth. The examiner literally gave me this slide. Is the title suitable? You say yes, it sums up what happens in the passage, and then you refer to the text and say exactly what is stated in the passage in your own words and form an opinion on whether this title is suitable or appropriate or apt. They might even use that word. And then we are going to say no, you skip a line, no, and then you say exactly the opposite because you have a better title in mind. Right, then they will definitely ask, state 2 ideas regarding whichever aspect. Then you must use your own words and provide 2 different points, hyphenated. If you give 3 ideas, you can't read, so it must be 2. Then they will definitely ask you to explain where you use full sentences and elaborate in detail. There you cannot state points. Explain means a lot of full sentences regarding the topic. They will ask differences or similarities where 2 aspects must be compared and you must write both parts, both sides of that coin. There will be a multiple choice question where you must then try to eliminate the options until the correct option remains. Substantiate. That word just means find evidence from the passage. It does not mean quote. Refer to your mark allocation to provide enough points. That will always be an excellent guideline. If they ask 2 points there at just freestyle substantiate, you can give more. If it counts 2, just elaborate, just carry on writing a paragraph. Discuss, once again, full sentences and refer to the mark allocation and just carry on discussing. Then the word consecutive means one word will follow directly after the other. If they ask you to quote 5 consecutive words, do not give 6 and do not give random words. Consecutive means it follows in a sequence. So this word was given by the chief examiner, so it will be on your paper. So please take notes of that. Moving on. Right, the summary is where you must get 10 marks easily. First, remember the rough draft. In order to do this, you read the passage thrice, 3 times. You identify and underline, work on that passage. Main ideas, those 7 facts that they require. Delete extra information so that you have a shorter piece to work with on the actual exam paper. Then change words by using synonyms and changing word order. This you can do on your rough draft, you can scratch, you can carry on. You must count the number of words. Words are literally counted by the marker. So you must indicate the amount of words in square brackets. You may use You may not use contractions. For instance, isn't, must be, is not. So they will count that as 2 words that you were supposed to write. So remember, cannot is 1 word and all the rest 2 words. You only use a contraction at a tag in English. Nowhere else. Right, then you follow the instructions where they say full sentences. You number the full sentences 1 to 7. You don't have bullets or asterisk, those little stars, just number. Then after writing your rough draft, you delete it and then you write the word final and then the title. You must remember at your essay as well. You guys tend to forget to write the title again. It's there at your planning, but you never ever write it at the final. So you say final and the title, which will obviously be something like how to lose weight in 5 days, or it will be how to. And they actually provide you with the title. You must just remember to write it down in your final. And of course, you delete, scratch out, cancel that rough draft. Right, check that you have not quoted, because the second you quote, you do not get marks for the language, because it's 7 marks for facts and 3 for your language usage. And if you quote, you didn't even attempt it, so you get 0 there. And remember the full stops at the end of sentences, and do not put a bullet at the end of the sentence. Just make a normal full stop. Nothing weird, not too small, not hanging up there in the air somewhere. Just check that at the end after you've written, when you go through your whole paper, you just quickly check the little details. Every sentence must have something at its end. Right, and obviously you must rewrite it neatly. Your presentation is everything. You always start a question on a new page, because various people mark one script. It's never one person marking a whole script. So better to lay it out perfectly and start on a new page. Moving on to the advertisement. So an advertisement is just a visual comprehension test. You cannot just jump in and start searching for answers. No, you analyze that advertisement. You look at the IDA principle. You see how they grabbed your attention, how they managed to maintain your interest, how they evoked the desire within you to want this product. And the action word, like Nike, just do it, that's the best action word ever, because it can be anything. So you must first analyze it, because I promise you, at number 9, if you scroll down, it's success. They're going to ask you, successful or not? Do you think this advertisement is successful? Once again, you must focus on the message and the reason to buy it, and analyze the ad according to the IDA principle. So you must first have that in your head before you start answering. Then at number 2, you identify the product for yourself. Even if they do not ask you, you must know what this ad is about. You must comprehend. You must know the target audience. They will probably ask you that, but you must go and think, yeah, this was meant for teenagers or for sick people or whatever the case may be. You must look out for the logo. They might ask that, which will be a symbol. The slogan and the catchphrase, you must differentiate very clearly that the slogan is the very catchy phrase also, but it has a ring to it and it's more well known. The catchphrase is the hook, where they will say, are you overweight? And then it catches your attention, and then you go and look what this ad is about, and then you get to a slogan, just do it. You know, oh, that's a slogan that we know, and it has a ring to it, and it's quite famous. Right, then you must link the visuals, if there's a picture, there will most likely be one, and the words. Explain the meaning of the words and analyze the visuals. So they're going to ask you what certain of the words mean and what they try to do with a visual, whether it's a picture of a woman suffering and vacuuming the house, or suffering and sweating in germ. You must analyze that visual and see the message, the emotion, the body language. Right, visual techniques will be to look at the font, so the size, whether it's been printed in bold, the words or vocabulary or punning or wordplay that they use, and then the picture will just emphasize what this whole ad is about. And then punctuation is extremely important. You must know the names of your punctuation marks. An exclamation mark emphasizes this or that or the other. The hyphen, etc., etc. The ellipsis, not ellipse, is Afrikaans, so you just add the IS. You must know the functions of your punctuation marks. which you will find in your Pinkers Guide. Then contact details will be on the ad, like there will be more information. They will probably ask you, is the information reliable? And they will give you maybe a source like a website or a telephone number, etc. They will ask you to provide them with this. And then, like I said, at the end, you must state whether this was successful or not and elaborate, carry on about the IDA principle. And then also say, no, it was not successful because they did not manage to evoke your desire to want to go and buy this product, and then carry on. Next slide is the cartoon, which is also a mini comprehension test in pictures. So firstly, again, you must analyze the cartoon before answering. Right, the body language, you must say exactly what was drawn, what it portrays regarding the character or the message, like eyes wide open, which will portray anger. Lots of learners say they don't say wide, they say wild. So just check that you have the right word. You must state how the person's posture reveals how he or she feels. So the emotion is always linked to the actual body posture of the person, the composure of the person. You can never write down just body language. That says nothing. You must say every detail that has been drawn and what it portrays. Sometimes the answer will be facial expression, but once again, the detail. State every feature and expression which was illustrated and which emotion it conveys. Never write just facial expression. That says nothing to me, right? Or to the examiner in this case. Then check whether the questions are based on specific frames and specific characters. Don't just answer randomly. Identify the humor, the satire, the sarcasm, the irony. It will be there. A cartoon is not there to make the reader laugh his or her head off. It is there to portray a message on society's follies. Like if you look there, all cartoons are satirical as it reflects on human folly or foolishness in society by using humor, wit, or sarcasm. This is the conveyed message. Somewhere, someone did something wrong and the cartoonist wants to highlight it, and then the cartoon is the instrument that he uses. But you must be able to identify what the actual message is. So if they ask you, is this successful, you will say it has been satirical because it reflects on human folly or foolishness, and then you just identify, oh, laziness or dominance or whatever the case may be. Right? Know the cartoon vocabulary, for instance, speech bubbles, thought bubbles, or frame. This is a visual comprehension test. In other words, you need to study it in detail before attempting to answer the questions. Analyze every line in every frame, punctuation, the text, the font, the background. You should literally trace all the details by using your finger. You look in the background, you look everywhere before answering. And then you will be asked to respond to an open-ended question. Did you enjoy the humor in the cartoon? State yes or no, and then refer to the text with a PL method when relating your opinion. And then you skip a line and you do the opposite opinion. But normally they feel that the cartoon is successful because of satire, right? And then moving on to the language, which is the last question. You must use past papers to practice language skills. Sorry, there's a little typo error. I tried to fix that. Practice must be an S, but I couldn't manage to do it. You can find it online and just go through everything. The memoranda can also be found online, and I also gave you that last paper in class. I also sent a paper on various subjects via Mrs. Heron through the RCL groups. English FAL is there, and the memo is also there. Revise all your language skill. In the Pinker's Guide and the notes, study your verb lists. Sing, sang, sung. Those lists are extremely important because that is where you determine what the tense is that you are working in, and that determines your answer. That you should have done in grade, I think, 5. Right, then they will ask you passive to active or vice versa. They can even ask you to make an active sentence passive. So you must understand passive to active voice. For instance, he kicks the ball is just a word order exercise where the ball is kicked by him. So the object is now in the first position and the subject is demoted and the tense must stay the same. So kicks equals is kicked. So just go and practice a few and come and ask me or just send me a WhatsApp if you don't know whether your answers are correct or not. You can also study that in your Pinker's Guide. Reported speech, the he said questions, they can ask he says or he said. They like asking he said because then the tense must go into the past, but it can be says. If it's John said, I played rugby yesterday, right? John said he had played rugby the previous day, so you will receive 1 mark for omitting inverted commas. So if you remember to delete those because it's now indirect, then you get 1 mark for free. And then obviously I will become he or she depending on the gender, and the played must go 1 step back into the past. So the past of played is had played. This is all because of the said, and yesterday will become the previous day. If they ask he says, it would stay in the same tense. Right, then they will ask questions, tags, and negatives. So questions, you use your auxiliary verb. If they want you to start with who, what, where, when, why, they will give it in brackets. Or else you are going to say, do we study for English? Right, the tags. We study for English, don't we? You must remember the comma and you must have the question mark because it's still a question tag. It's attached to the end of the sentence. And if the sentence is positive, the tag is negative. And then they will ask a negative, which means you add not into the sentence. He is tired. Negative. He is not tired. Right, conjunction rules, you must go and study it everywhere. It's after, when, as soon as, and you must apply the rule. I gave you notes on that. Editing will be the first 4 marks. You must check the spelling. They make deliberate errors, like spelling wonderful with 2 L's, which is terrible. They like doing that. The concord, they will deliberately say, he have a car, so you go fix it. He has a car. Punctuation, do they have full stops at the end of sentences? If it maybe was a question, did they put the question mark? Or very, very, very little intricate booby trap that they use is the apostrophe. They either leave it out or omit it deliberately, or they put it in the wrong place, or you have to take it away. Maybe it's it shouldn't even be there. So go and study the apostrophe, because I've noticed in all your essays, you just ignore the fact that there is a thing like an apostrophe. In English, it does not portray plurals. In Afrikaans, it does. Right, plural, they can ask you to make the plural of a word, like 1 baby, 2 babies, IES, but it can be a sentence. So he sings, the plural will be they sing. I sing will become we sing. So sometimes the verb must also change. Right, the tenses, you must know the names and structure of all those tenses. I also gave you notes at the beginning of the year in such columns with all the tenses. The most famous ones, there are a bit more, but you get the simple or indefinite present, past and future tense. Then you get the continuous tenses, present, past and future, which just implies the ing. And then the present, past and future perfect tenses, which will be has or have, and then had for the past or will have done for the future. So you must go and study them. They are going to give you a sentence and they will say exactly, rewrite it into the future continuous tense. They love the continuous tenses, so make sure that you can actually do the structure of the tense. Right, then they will ask synonyms, words of same meanings, antonyms, words of opposite meanings, homophones, words that just sound the same, where you must provide a sentence, and then also homonyms, which are spelled and sound, or they actually spelled differently. So just go check in your Pinkers Guide. The homophones will be spelled the same, but no, let me just scratch that. Homophones just sound the same. Homonyms can be spelled the same, but always different meanings. Okay, sorry people, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. People, that is what I have for you to encounter this first paper. So I really suggest that you go and study and that you get your boots on the ground like a little soldier, hoo-ha, and remember the words that Sun Tzu said. A victorious warrior win first and then go to war. So you must actually be so prepared that it's not going to be a battle in any way. So people, just be vigilant. I know you can do this. So I'm signing off and good luck. I apologize for a few little words because it's very early and I did not warm up and I am extremely tired and I can carry on for days about technology and that I'm a technological dinosaur. So really people, good luck.